Welcome back, everyone, to Confidence Reset for language learners who are multi-passionate but need some encouragement, joy, and motivation along the way. My name is Emily from Language Travel Adoptee. Today, we are talking about how we can keep on learning languages even when we feel at a disadvantage. Maybe we are frustrated that someone has more benefits to learning a language than we do. Obviously, language learning is never a fair playing field. There will always be someone with more resources, someone who started earlier than us. Always be someone who has a partner to speak their target language with, or they have the resources to actually move to the target language's countries. Maybe they were just raised with 2 or more languages. So I myself have been in many situations where I just met so many language learners, especially in Germany, who were, of course, German, but they also had the advantage of speaking Turkish and Bulgarian at home. And then they had a partner that they could speak Spanish with. I mean, the list kind of went on. Some were even just raised abroad in bilingual, trilingual preschools. And I did notice these differences when I personally was feeling pretty good about my language learning journey and was able to brush that off a little bit more. But when I was really feeling overwhelmed or I was stuck and frustrated that I wasn't moving fast enough according to me, I interpreted that as, they get this all for free and I have to work so hard to acquire even a small portion they already have access to. But here's a reminder today, there's truly something beautiful at every stage in the language learning journey, no matter what proficiency level you are at. And there's something beautiful to learn and to do no matter how you came into language learning in the first place. Remember, for people that you do envy in those situations, if they are bilingual, trilingual, if they were raised with more access to languages, or they have someone at home to speak it with, they have their own personal struggles too. I love diving into more of the nuances about identities and language learning because languages are so tied to who we are and yes, tied to a lot of joy, but they can also be tied to a lot of potential conflict within cultures, religions, complicated relationships with our family. We look at people who were born bilingual or more and we think that they have it all, or we look at the kids that were given opportunities to be raised in a multilingual environment without really thinking, well, what does the person who has their own unique story and perspective, what are they really thinking? Did they really want that for themselves in the first place? Or if they had been given a choice, would they choose that? And we won't ever know. But since everyone is different, most likely there are quite a few people who for some reason or another have complicated enough relationships with languages or with certain languages that they were taught that they could tell you it's not all sunshine and rainbows being bilingual or trilingual in that way. And no matter if you think, oh, I'm too late to improve this language up to the level that I want, or I wish I had moved abroad sooner, or I wish I had taken that class sooner, no matter where you are, there's something you can already take advantage. There's so many ways to express yourself in language, not only through words, but also through art. You still have access to words to express yourself. I've heard so many people who are using different writing systems and taking even calligraphy classes to improve that part of the language. You can still learn musical instruments that are important and integral to your language's country's cultures. I've heard also of so many people who are non-native speakers of a language and they nonetheless get to teach their kids that certain language at home. I can also think of many of my friends who come from totally different cultures. They don't speak each other's languages, so they use English to communicate. And no, they aren't native speakers, but they can have a meaningful, loving relationship even within a non-native language. Most likely, you can explain the inner workings of a language better than a regular native person can. Maybe you've even encountered more literature than other natives have, especially if you have progressed into some of the more intermediate levels of language learning. Apart from all of that, you can still do so many of ordinary tasks that you need to survive, right? Running errands, writing to-do lists, communicating your needs, reading over contracts, ordering furniture. I mean, the list goes on and on. What we can probably do in our day-to-day lives and make ourselves understood with our needs. So, even when you do feel disadvantaged, there is always something beautiful and practical that allows you to connect with someone else in that language. And also multiple ways to show yourself respect and gratitude for doing so. If you are interested in working more one-on-one with me, go ahead and book your complimentary one-on-one discovery call in the description. And otherwise, check out this next video for more language learning confidence.